Hi, this is Lauren, and
Hi, Ken.
we actually changed locations. I and Jennifer. We're currently sitting in the Underground Library Cafe in Hicks Library, and we have recently discussed our questions that were brought up in class about the articles and questions we would ask peer mentors that were more experienced than we were.
Yep.
And so we just kind of discussed these questions, and so we'll just kind of go through the questions that we asked and what we kind of discussed within those topics. So the first question that I posed was, how do you balance between friendships and mentorships, especially when you develop a strong relationship? So, meaning if you met with your mentor or your mentee for a while and you guys kind of realize that you have the same interests, how do you kind of still balance and maintain that professional relationship while not getting into the friendship zone?
Yeah. So I think like friendship and mentorship, sometimes in the mentorship relationship, it's kind of like a friendship in this, but I mean, after the mentorship, you can also have some kind of sort of friendly,
Friendship.
contact or something you can help him with, or
Right, and we also talked.
something. Yeah.
We also talked about in one of the articles we read, the study said that actually 78% of students only return to a four-year college, which is a kind of a low number. I think I would have assumed it would have been a little bit higher. And they said that students that receive some type of mentorship, the return rate is really high. And so I think that you play a very important role in these people's lives. That us are playing important roles in our mentees' lives. So that you are going to want to, they are going to want to have a friendship as well as you. So it's just kind of making sure that you keep the professionalism, that you are their academic, social. I mean, not even a social advisor. I say more academic advisor, and to keep them on track and keep them in line with their goals. I think sometimes as you get into that friend barrier, the goals aspect kind of goes away. And then we also talked about one of Ken's questions was,
what's the goal for the mentoring, the mentorship process? In other words, why do mentors want to be mentoring?
Which I thought that was a very good and real question. So we're spending all this time mentoring our students, but what are we getting out of it?
Yeah.
What are obviously our mentees are getting at? They're getting the help, they're getting the knowledge to do their goals. But what are our goals in this mentoring process? What are we getting out of it? And I think that especially as us as being new mentors, we're getting out of it that we're learning how to mentor in the future. So obviously, practice makes perfect. We're practicing and making ourselves more aware of our mentoring styles, our mentoring goals, and realizing what we can do to build upon it. That's what we do in our reflections. It helps us figure out what our strengths and weaknesses are, so next time we can go and be stronger. So, and I think that also in a work setting, mentorship is very important. So it's also going to help us in our future jobs when we have to mentor other employees.
And also, in addition to that, I think since the mentorship process is a two-direction process, it doesn't only makes the mentee learn something, it makes us learn too. So it's kind of important to think before we enter the relationship, thinking about what do we as mentors want to get from this relationship is also very significant.
It kind of all comes full circle at the end. I mean, we're not learning the same things, but we're both learning different things off of each other.
Yeah, benefiting each other.
Another good question that we talked about was, which was kind of a question that we both had that kind of united together. Was like, how do you break through barriers? And Ken kind of brought up like, what if there's stereotypes, biases, or misunderstandings, which is definitely apparent in our relationships with our mentees because they are from different countries. And it's kind of a hard to, especially the language barrier. How do you break through that? And I think that it's very important to talk slowly with your mentee and make sure. And you can always gauge on people's faces, and especially through their body language if they're understanding what you're saying. You always get that look of like, what did she just say? So it's definitely important to pay attention to those nonverbal gestures when talking and spending time with your mentee.
Yep. Also, I think to make the mentorship process go more thoroughly, how is it? No.
Fluently, more smoothly.
Smoothly. You need to prepare for before every time you meet with your mentee to know their culture, to think about what the potential barriers be, and try to think about how do you deal with it if it comes up in the mentorship process.
Yeah, it's really important to be prepared for your mentoring relationships, especially. I know I kind of knew a little bit about the Chinese culture before I went into the mentoring meeting, because I knew that it was something that I never dealt with before, but I know that's something that you can definitely knowledge yourself about. We took in the last class, we took the culture class of this series of classes. We talked about the ASK model. It was
attitude, awareness, skills,
and knowledge. And knowledge was a big point, and I think that's a big component of this mentoring relationship is knowledge, and is knowledging yourself and putting that in your understanding of different cultures, and it's definitely something that you have to remember in this mentoring class. Well, that's kind of what we talked about. We're going to wrap up. See you Thursday. We had a great time. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.